Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Astrology and Coffee. I'm here with the Academy of Logic and Light, and we've got our teachers here with us. Julie, I always do this, Julie and Elle.
I always move.
Yeah. And today we're talking all about the sun. So if you know what your sign is, it's probably your sun sign. And it's a great place to start talking about the energy of the sun in our lives. We're going to talk a lot about different things. And today's also the Lionsgate portal. So yay, it's a perfect day to talk about the sun and all the things about it. Anyway, that's enough for me. Let me tell you a little bit about the Academy of Logic and Light. So we are a community education platform that provides a safe space for people to practice their spirituality without being indoctrinated. We have monthly meetups here in the Salt Lake Valley, and we are also on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We have a group on there of the same name. And then we also are online at academyoflogicandlight.org. So here's just kind of a little example of our page, our link in bio page. We have all these things going on as well as our Patreon. So if you like what you see and you're interested in supporting us, we're just getting this started, but it will have access to all of our backlog of Astrology and Coffee that are no longer available. And like our Zodiac series will eventually be going on here. And we also are going to have an Astrology After Dark that we will be posting live for our Patreons and interacting with everyone there. So we're just super excited, super low tiering at just $5 a month. And then you can go up as you want different benefits or if you just want to support us more. So that is all about the Academy. And if you're interested in teaching with us like Elle and Julie are today, you can reach out on social media or you can send us an email at academyoflogicandlight@gmail.com. So, all right, without further ado, I'll go ahead and run a quick intro and turn the time over to our teachers. Thanks, guys. What's up?
Hi. There was so much happening on the screen, and now it's just the two of us. I'm like,
I know. If you hear sirens in the background, I live in Ogden, so it's fine.
I've got all the construction. So between the two of us, we're gonna make this happen.
It'll be fun. Little background noises.
Yeah. Happy Lionsgate portal. We didn't even plan to start with the sun on a Lionsgate. It just happened. We're good like that sometimes.
I love it. I feel like every time we do something, or something big is happening, we're like, oh my gosh, and this is happening.
Just coincidentally, we happen to be on theme.
The universe is looking for us. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think so. Are you doing anything specific for the Lionsgate portal?
No, I always just do like a little gratitude for whatever the theme is for it. Like kind of the sun, I always do like a little gratitude for like thanks for the nourishment and like help with growing the plants and the food and all the things. So I kind of go into that aspect of it, but that's about it.
I love that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be fancy.
No. We're not fancy.
I don't know what I'm going to do today. I definitely think I'm going to do a little bit of spell work because take advantage of this day.
Why not?
Yeah. I kind of just going to do a little similar thing with the gratitude starting out as well and then kind of go from there. Whatever we're calling in. But this week, I think I'm going to call in the help from our ancestors and nature to just help us transmute all this funky energy a little bit around.
Well, we're going to come out of the Venus retrograde on September 3rd. So if you're struggling out there in your relationships, not just like romantic, whatever relationship may be, just push through. We're almost there. You almost made it.
We're almost there. And I'm going into Mercury retrograde.
Then you can't communicate, but it's fine.
Good times.
I love it.
So we actually have so much information that we're going to do this in a couple parts, but we're going to go through the sun this week, and then part 2 of the sun, then the moon might be done in 2 parts. We'll see. We're going to see. We're kind of making this up as we go to give the most information so we can all grow together. Let's see. The sun. Everything in our universe revolves around the sun. Our daily activities, what time we wake up and go to sleep, and what we wear. Astrology worships this giant force. In this class, we will be talking about fun facts of the sun and its associations. Excuse me, there's a cat that's begging for attention. The elements and which elements your sun sign is in, and then keywords for each of the sun signs as well. Questions to keep in mind, and we'll be asking you these now and then at the beginning, so just keep them through your mind and see if your questions change by any means. What are your personality strengths? What is the hardest part about being your sun sign? What is a major theme in your life? And what is the ruler of your sign?
All very important questions.
Very important questions. Oops, excuse me. Okay, and quick cheat sheet. I think it's always important to remember that you're not just your sun sign. The planet, the sun, the planet, the sign, and the house is the what, how, and where. To get a proper reading in your chart. The planet is what type of essence or energy is it in. The sign is how do you use that energy, and the house is what areas of your life does this show up. Let's see here. The sun is the living, life-giving force that rules this universe. We can't live without it, and astrologically, it rules our world too. It is a giant, glowing, and perfectly positioned from the earth. It is exactly at the right distance for our survival, and we are dependent upon it. The sun determines what time we rest, when we get up, what we wear, and the time of day. Every source of life leans towards the sun, and it is dependent on it. Think every tree, plant, and growing thing. Without vitamin D, we are depressed and lifeless. Astrologically, it determines the outer expressions of our personality and we are who we are in the world and how we do things. It also represents our father.
Yes, I was going to go into that a little bit with the
please.
father. So your moon is all about your mother and your relationship with your mother, and your sun is all about your relationship with your father. So if you look at the house that it's in with the sign, just kind of the energies that those two things bring, it can tell you a lot about your relationship with your father. So we can go into that a little more once we go through all of them. But yeah,
that's interesting.
You can get from someone's sign, the house, and the degree.
Fun facts. Leo, the sun rules Leo and the 5th house. It's exalted by Aries. Its detriment is Aquarius. Fall is Libra. Element is fire. And the time spent in each sign is 30 days.
Very exciting. Can I go into this a little?
Please, yeah.
Okay, so Leo, the sign that loves to be seen. They love to shine. They love the center of attention. That is like sun energy, right? Like the sun demands to be seen. You can't miss it. You know, if it's out and it's daytime, the sun is there. I mean, I guess it could be cloudy, but still, without it, you wouldn't see anything. So it just kind of gives that energy. And the 5th house is like fun and bright and has all these. Sorry, my cat is gotta go.
They're needy today.
I want to be on the live. But yeah, so it just, both of those, when you look at the ruler, you know, Leo, the sun rules Leo. It's goes hand in hand. It's kind of like, you know, they're very loud and proud, and they kind of like have the same energy. Exalted in Aries, that's a great placement. Aries suns, they thrive. You know, if you're depending on the house, I mean, this is a really good placement. So the way that the detriment works is it's actually the polarity of the ruler. So it's ruled by Leo. The polarity of Leo is Aquarius. So anytime you're trying to figure out, well, what's the detriment? What is the fall? How does this all work? You find that by looking at the sign that the planet rules, and you look at its complete opposite. So that's just a fun fact on how you find that. The fall in Libra, I don't like to think of things as negative and positive in astrology. I just find it to be like a good learning lesson or a weaker aspect. This is a very weak aspect. So my sun is in Libra, and I can say in my chart, my sun, it weakens the sun, the power of the sun. So my Libra characteristics are not as strong as if I were to have a Libra Venus who who is ruled by Venus. Like Venus rules Libra, so that would be like its ruler there. But yeah, it's kind of a harder placement having a Libra sun because it's not a very strong placement. It kind of like waters down the Libra flavor, if you will. So, but yeah,
Interesting.
wanted to throw some fun facts about how all that works and how you figure it out. And exalted is really good. It like magnifies it. That's why Aries are so fiery and so like extra, because they're exalted in the sun. Aquariuses, they're a little more, it's not a bad thing. It's just a way of it gives them a lot of introspective personalities to kind of look inside and look at and like how they perceive the world is kind of different. It's not a negative thing. It's just a different way, different challenging area to have that Aquarius. So
Interesting. Thank you.
yeah.
Let's see. Our influences are life force, personality, self-expression, energy, masculine energy. The Leo qualities are the center of attention, dramatic and happy. And fifth house qualities are romance, creativity, children, and courage.
That Leo energy, man. The sun.
Those Leos. And I was like, actually, for this Lionsgate portal, all three of us had beautiful hair today. I just wanted to say.
Hey, here we are. I'm like digging that hair, honestly. Rising is shining bright right now.
Yeah, I didn't even brush it, actually. This is just how I did it. I woke up like this. Okay, so body part that's ruled by the sun is the head, the right eye, and the heart. And we have a little something from our girl Kat today. Let's see. Talking about it.
As we move into the planets, I thought it would be fun to change things up a little bit and talk about meridians, mostly because there are 12 main meridian lines within our bodies, and each meridian line correlates to a major organ or system, and all of the planets also correlate to a major organ or system. If you don't know what a meridian is a line that runs through the body that harnesses a lot of energy. It is what is used with acupuncture and acupressure. You can think of them as rivers that flow with your chi. So when it gets backed up, your chi or your life force also gets backed up. When they're flowing freely, you have a lot of vitality, a lot of energy. So as we work through these planetary systems, we're going to work through some meridian lines, and I'm going to walk you through some pressure points along those meridian lines to open up and balance some of that chi in those meridian lines. Today, we are going to start with the heart line. The heart corresponds with the sun. All right, so let's get into it. The heart line runs from the center of your armpit down the bottom of your arm, almost to your elbow. Then you're going to cut across kitty corner to your ulna, pinky side bone, up the ulna, just to your wrist. There's a point here. Then you're going to come up between your pinky finger and your ring finger, point here, and you're going to end right here on your pinky finger. And that is the heart line. Armpit to here, across, up the ulna to wrist, up the hand to the inside of your pinky. We will see you next week.
Ooh.
Very nice.
That was interesting.
I know. I always learn so. She's like the information that she provides.
I know. And I'm like, I know all about that meridian line. That's where I just had my surgery.
Oh,
That literally crossed right up that heart line.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Hmm.
Basics of the sun. The sun is ambitious and hopeful, can be courageous and noble, or prideful and self-centered. No one knows a Leo like that.
No.
Viewing the sun in your life, everything in our universe revolves around the sun. Our daily activities, what time we wake up and go to sleep, what we wear. Astrology worships this giant force.
I want to know how many people read their sun sign. Like, when you go to read your horoscope, your daily horoscope, that is your sun sign. And how those are projected is they go off your sun sign and the transits for that day, things that may happen, right? Like they're trying to gauge. And I want to know for everyone watching, if you could just chime in and say, I relate to the sun heavily, or I read my sun and I think this doesn't even sound like me. I would like for people to chime in and just let us know how relevant your sun sign is to your chart. And then I'd kind of like to look at your chart a little bit and just kind of give some feedback on that. Because I think that's one of the biggest issues with astrology is somebody reads their sun sign and they're like, oh, this doesn't make sense or whatever. And you have a whole chart. And so I'm just curious to see how many people read it and they can relate, or some that they find it non-relatable at all.
I've been saying it since the beginning of time, and every time someone's like, you're studying astrology, and I'm like, it's not like what you're thinking. It's like learning a whole nother language, but just studying only your sun sign is a giant disservice to astrology and to you.
Yeah.
What a waste.
Culture's
It's like one small teensy tiny portion.
Yeah, and sometimes it may have zero relevance to your life, very little. I mean, some, but depending on your chart and where everything falls, your sun can be one of the weakest planets in your chart. I mean, it is for me, and I used to read about Libra and I'd be like, this is not me at all. This is so, and then I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Sagittarius dominant chart. That makes sense. Like, it's so much to astrology that I'm just curious how many people are like, oh yeah, I am. Leos are the ones that are like, yep, I'm a Leo. Those Aries are like, yep, I'm fire. I will cut you. Also get shit done. Like, there's just like so many signs, but then you find others that are like, no, not really.
Yeah, before I moved to Utah, I actually didn't relate to being a Capricorn at all. And my friend bought me a Capricorn mug, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm a Capricorn. And then it's like once I got a house to live in and not be like transient and all, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm a total Capricorn.
Is that tidy? Is that clean? Organized? Sure.
My whole life is just like making things in order, lists, making money.
No, I get that.
But also I recommend, if you are one of those people reading those like little blurbs of astrology, read your big three, your sun, your moon, and your rising, at least for a better picture.
Yeah. Because it really does put things in perspective. And you can take a little bit from each. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, definitely. Like I like to look at my transits for the month, and I do my sun and my rising. Those are the two that I use. Because my moon, I do look at my moon transits too, but it's something completely different. Like I can put the sun and the rising together and it flows very nicely. The moon, how my emotion state is sometimes is a little up and down. So I read different transits for those. But yeah, it's good to look at all three and really kind of put it together and see like, oh, okay, this makes more sense because it gives you more information. Yeah. Unless triple Pisces sun, Pisces moon, Pisces rising, then it's just true and through.
Which is so funny because we have this comment. I don't relate to my son's signs horoscope, but as I started learning about Hellenistic astrology, they use your rising sign for horoscopes so that the themes line up with your houses. But I know it's coming from a Pisces.
Coming from a Pisces. Yes. She relates more to Aries energy. And I guarantee you she's Aries dominant because even speaking with her, like how like Pisces are organized too in a sense. Like I said, it's kind of their own how they in their mind is organized. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Megan's is never like that. Megan's is like, let's get this done. Let's put this on paper. Let's, and I'm like,
she's so good.
Boss, like that's for sure.
Oh yeah, she gets things done.
Yes, we need that. We love that.
Okay, archetypes associated with the sun: the leader, the illuminator, the father. Well, themes are life expression, vitality, strength, health, creativity, self-esteem, joy, manifestation, motivation, confidence, magnanimity. I'm like always going to embarrass myself on
I'm just glad I'm not reading this.
I know. I was like, let me go through and see if there's any words I don't know. Leadership, fatherhood, and masculinity. Do you have anything you want to add to this slide, Elle?
Yeah, so I'm going to use myself as an example. So I'm a Libra sun. That's in the fall. That's the fall for the sun. And mine is in the 10th house. And so I didn't have a strong relationship with my father. And Capricorn being 10th house ruler and another extra father sign, it kind of caused for my reality, the Libra and the Capricorn mix caused an absent father in my chart because they don't align. There was no aligning for me as a Libra. This free and fun and light energy with this harsh Capricorn energy, it clashed, and it completely with the degree, which we'll go into degrees another time. It's an absent degree. So my father was completely absent. I didn't meet him until I was 24, 25. And so, but we do have a really good relationship. I met him and we just clicked, but it just kind of, I have one of those placements that you can see that when your sun is in a certain sign, in a certain house, and to a certain degree, it really shows you either have a really good relationship with your father or a really, hard relationship with your father. And mine wasn't hard. Mine wasn't hard at all. Mine was pretty easy. He was just absent. So it wasn't like this issue. It was just like I didn't meet him until later. And it shows that in my chart, which I think is really cool. So look at your sun sign, look at the house it's in, evaluate your relationship with your father, maybe do a little research on the degree that your sun sign is in and see how those correlate, because that's just something fun to kind of study and look at if you're just wanting to look at different like family traits in your chart. This is a really good one for father. So
very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
One way of understanding the meaning of a planet is to become familiar with the mythic attributes and deeds of the god or goddess who share the same name. This archetypal approach reaches back into the heart of astrological origins that predicted upon the divine nature of planetary energy. That is a mouthful. I'm so sorry. Did you have anything you want to add to this?
No, not to that one.
Okay. I was like, that says everything you need to know.
Got nothing to that.
Gods of the sun. There are several gods associated with the sun, like Ra in ancient Egypt, Helios and Apollo in Greek mythology. They have different attributes with what they have influence with the relationship with the sun. Anything on that one?
No, I should know a little more about the gods.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
I'm not that skilled in that area, honestly.
No, I love this though. This is so cool. We're like learning together. Though in Western astrology, the sun is associated with masculinity, in other cultures, the sun is represented by feminine deities like Sol in the Norse traditions and Amaterasu. I've practiced this one, I swear. Amaterasu in the Shinto beliefs. If you are familiar with any of these deities, you will notice a lot of overlapping traits like leadership, travel, blessings, and healing. Cool.
So Megan and I were kind of talking about this, and in other cultures where the sun is feminine, because of the culture that how I was raised and how I was taught, it's such a masculine energy for me. It's so it's so strong and not that feminine's not strong. To me, feminine is I won't say stronger, but it has better. Yeah, it's like the softness makes it, I don't know how to explain it, but I just find it interesting in other cultures that they kind of swap it, because it's like, for me, the sun is so masculine and the moon is feminine. And so to try to get my brain to think otherwise or to research the opposite is like a mind trick for me. Because I'm like, but it's masculine.
So for me, I like kind of see it, like when I talk about the sun, I think I am more of a she.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do kind of see it more like this, but
that's interesting. Yeah, I'm always like,
but I make almost everything feminine in my world.
I make everything masculine, but I'm a masculine sign and you're a feminine sign. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, look, my plants. I'm like, look at this little guy all the time.
Yeah, almost everything I have is more feminine, except for my paddleboard Sven, because he's like my boyfriend.
Yes, he's strong. You know where you need to go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I'm in charge still.
I tell him where to take us, but he.
Yeah.
I love that. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, this one was super interesting, and I'm super excited to cover this with the moon because I've already learned so much just making the slides. All right, sun in the elements. So if you're one of the water elements, what is that? Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Always forget. If the sun is in a water sign, you are an emotionally sensitive person whose world revolves around your instinct and intuition. You are inner focused and self-reflective, and you have the potential to be a gifted healer, a caretaker of animals and children, and a prized family member.
Yeah. So, I mean, water signs, when your sun is in a water sign, it's who you are to the core. You are a healer. You trust your intuition. I've said this when we went through all of the signs, you know, those Pisces, Cancer, Scorpios, they know what's up. They know things before they happen. They sense them. Their instincts are on point. Their intuition is 90% of the time correct. I mean, they have that thing. You're so lucky if you have this. I don't have water in my chart, and I will say I lack intuition. I trust off of like this portal, but it's not inside. It's not like a gut feeling or something I feel. It's something I think because I have so much air in my chart. And so you're very fortunate if you have water in your chart because it does give you an advantage in life because you can feel things that a lot of people can't. So kudos for you.
Yeah. Got our fire signs and the Aries, Leo. Oh my gosh. Why can't I think of the third one?
The third, Sagittarius.
Thank you. I was like, I know this. I know I do. If the sun is a fire sign, you are given the gift of excessive energy, blunt truth, and an entertaining personality type. Your energy level is enhanced by doing more, and you do not know how to relax except in action. Your vitality and passion never leaves a dull moment.
A sun sign in a fire element is, I feel like fire signs they don't get as much credit for being intuitive, but they've got some intuition in there too, very heavily. But they're exciting. They are excited about life, like things that people are like, oh, look, a rainbow. Like fire signs are like, did you see the fucking rainbow? It was so dope. I can feel its energy. Like we need those kind of people. Those people
We
are
do.
fun.
Well,
So-
Amanda's our resident fire sign, and she's one of the most intuitive people I know. She's like, hey, it's time to go. Things are about to get weird at this party. And I'm like, if Amanda says it's time to go, we got to go. And she's always right.
Yes, no, they do. They don't get a lot of credit for that, and I don't know. It's just not like spoke about. I don't know, but I love Leo, Aries. I'm telling you, and Sagittarius too, maybe, but I noticed that the most in Aries and Leos, they know, they have instincts. I'm like, it's very eerie. So, but yeah, fire signs. If your sun is in a fire sign, it's a great placement. Gives you a lot of energy. Just maybe, you know, when you're telling someone how to do something, maybe use just a little tact. Just you don't have to like sugarcoat it or make it super fluffy, but just like a little something, you know?
Tact is nice.
Yes.
You can deliver the exact same message in a different way. It's fine.
Better response. You get to, you know, come back at a little less angry, and that's good. But I don't know. I think fire signs like to make people angry. I have to share a story. My husband, so he's all about the astrology life because, you know, we've worked together for like 3 years on studying and teaching him and like growing his astrology knowledge. And today he had a lady that was like talking to him and she was going on, and he like stops and he's like, are you an Aries? I am an Aries. And she was like high-fiving him, you know, she was really excited. She's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I'm an Aries. He's like, I can just tell that you're an Aries. And she was like, oh. She's like, yeah, that's wild that you guessed it. And I'm like, she was just like, he's like, she was so busy and loud and she was crazy, but she like was getting her shit done. He was like, I could just tell, like, and she had red.
Oh man. Every time someone has red hair, I'm like fire sign. And then you just takes like 3 or 4 more guesses and you got their sign.
Yeah.
Only Leos wear giant t-shirts and things that have lions on them.
I know. Yeah.
Only a Leo. Every time I'm on the plane, I'm like, hey, can I guess your sign?
To random passengers, they're like,
yeah, it's a fun party trick, especially when you're right. But sometimes you're wrong, and it's usually because they're a Pisces.
or you're picking up on their rising energy.
Yeah, and then I have to explain astrology. Like, listen, you're not just
you get on, and you're like, all right, everyone, astrology 101. Here we go. Get your pen out for notes. You should do that.
I mean, I'm into it. They're like, I just wanted a Diet Coke, man.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck is this? You know? I would take that flight. I would fly that airline just.
Oh, me too.
So.
Be like, sorry for the delay, guys. Mercury's in retrograde.
Mercury's doing that Gatorade thing again.
Okay, for air signs was Gemini, Aquarius. Why am I always have the hardest time with the third ones? Gemini, Aquarius, Libra. Duh. If the sun is an air sign, you are an entertaining, mentally stimulated social animal. The conversation of astrology, science, and just about anything captures your attention for a short period. You are here to lighten up the world and make us think.
Yes. There's nothing more fun than 2 air signs getting together and collaborating.
Oh, my word. I think Megan just crashed.
Crashed. It's fine. We can go through the Earth next. I got this.
Okay, cool. Let me pull it up on my side. That's what happens when you go live sometimes.
It gets weird.
I don't know how to pull it up for people, but I can continue to read it.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Let's see. God, suns, elements, and we're at Earth, right?
Air.
Oh, air. Go ahead.
Finish air, and then we can do Earth. Does that work?
Yeah.
So if your sun sign is Megan, if your sun sign is an air sign, then you literally love to communicate, you love to talk, you love to share ideas, you're sharers, but like she just read, it only goes so far. Our attention span is very squirrel. Like conversation, like if you've ever seen 2 air signs have a conversation, getting to the end result is like one of those things where you drop the coin down and it goes like all the different ways, and it's like but never ending though, because sometimes they don't even get to the solution. They just talk about what.
Geminis are so easy to like. Geminis and Aquarius are like very easy to like spot because they're just so freaking chatty.
Yes. My husband and I will talk for hours about absolutely nothing, and I'm like, nothing. Or we'll be talking of like, we need to be getting ready. Like I can't how many times I'm like, we're gonna be late. Like we've just been sitting here talking, like sharing ideas or talking about whatever. And I'm just like, we have to get it together. Gemini, Libra, man. And our Mercuries match our suns because so that's a Libra, Gemini. It's just it's a good
chatty house.
Chatty. So if you have a sun,
have chatty mornings, or do you have quiet mornings when you wake up?
I'm chatty. He's not.
Okay.
So if I wake up and I have like coffee and then he gets up, I know that I have to like push it all down up, because if I start going, he's gonna look at me and be like, how many cups of coffee have you had? Am I doing it again? He's like, yeah.
Am I doing it again?
Like a slow way down. I'm like, shit, I really was trying not to, but here we are. So fun. It's a fun light relationship too. It's there's no seriousness, there's like,
yeah,
it's just nice. And that's an air sign quality too. We're not very deep. We're just not deep people. Like we do have deep conversations, but it's not like a Scorpio and a Pisces, not like a Cancer and a Pisces. Like you guys are deep and you dive into the soul. We're kind of like just fucking around,
We need that. We need that in our lives.
Yeah. All right, now let's do the element of Earth.
Ooh, and that is our Capricorn, our Taurus, and
organized, overly
Virgo.
Yes.
Now I'm like realizing so many of my friends are married to Virgo men, and it just makes so much more sense for our group energy. It's just we need those Virgo men in our lives.
Take care of shit.
They're the ones who are driving us around, picking us up from the bar's trunk.
Responsible.
Very. They have the extra hand sanitizer.
You just left the bar. Everybody, put your hands out.
Good dad figures for sure. All right. If the sun is in an earth sign, you are grounded, solid, and reliable. Your ego identity is wrapped up in your work and money, and that's who you think you are. You are here to keep order, maintain business as usual, and hold us accountable for manifesting our dreams.
You know, one of the best signs for manifesting is, do you know which one it is? There's a few, but do you know which one is like Taurus?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I love my Taurus women.
Ugh, I'm a Taurus moon. I feel like I manifest everything I ever want. I'm like, oh, I want to do this, and it just appears. Like I truly am. My Taurus is exalted in the moon, because this moon, we'll go into that next week, but just to throw a little extra out there. So, but yeah, Taurus, they're very good at manifesting. They're not so much daydreamers. I can't really put my finger. I haven't figured out why they're such good manifestors, but they have that Venus energy because they're ruled by Venus. And there's something about it that really projects and puts things in motion. So I feel like that's just a fun tidbit. But if you have an earth sign, you're probably very responsible, very you're probably an old soul, or you feel, this is for all you little Capricorns out there, you feel like you've been around for a minute. Like life has been, good, but you do feel like your soul's been here for a while. And so Virgos like to be organized. Capricorns are all about business. Tauruses are all about snacks.
And naps.
Naps, yes. I have two of the laziest. So I'm a Venus ruled chart. So my sun is ruled by Venus and my moon is ruled by Venus. But Taurus and Libra are like two of the laziest signs. Thank God for my Sagittarius rising, because if I didn't have that. But I'm just like, I'm so tired and I just want to be lazy, but I can't relax.
I was camping this weekend with my friend Shannon, who's a Taurus, and she was like, you and Amanda changed my life because you told me Tauruses love to nap, and she's like, I'm not a napper, but then I tried it out and now I love naps.
We're going back.
She was like, actually, I do love naps.
Thank you.
I was like, that was so random.
You're like, you've never napped before?
I know, right? Especially as a flight attendant, like we live on tiny naps.
Yeah, a little snooze and then you're off for the next 8 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I can always appreciate earth signs because I do feel like we do need that order. We need people that are structured. We need people that are planners. We need to have, some sort of itinerary, little bit at least. I know us air signs are like, oh, I hate traveling with earth signs, so.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, the best.
I want to take my time or hurry up, whatever, but I don't want to be told I have to be at these places at this time. And every time I travel with an earth friend, they want to stay longer than I want to stay. They want to dive deep into, yes. Wow. I have an earth friend. She's a Capricorn. I love her to death. We were childhood homies. We grew up together. We would go to like these baseball games or basketball games. I'm not going to last the whole game. I'm bored by
those games are terribly boring.
Terrible, but she wants to stay to the end. She wants to know who wins. I'm just like here for the beer and the snacks, and then maybe we can go, but no, I'm like, we're not compatible to go to these things. Concerts too. I don't last till the end of a concert. Like really? I get so bored. I'm always like, I gotta go. Like if I'm in one place for too long, I'm so
very air sign of you.
That is very, but then also Sagittarius, when you mix the Libra and the Sag, it's hard for me.
Attention span, yeah.
Yeah, very short. I mean, I'm like over it real quick. So
I did my 40th birthday. We did it in Mexico, and everyone was an earth sign except for Amanda. She was our resident fire sign, and she was the one like making quesadillas for us.
Who needs snacks? I'm telling you, every element is good to have.
It was amazing.
You need the fire, you need the fun of the air, you need the structure of the earth. They're all so important and equally as important to have, but too much of one
I
can
don't
be.
know. I love the Earth sign vacation.
Oh yeah. No.
We had exactly the right amount of food. We had no excess. We didn't have any extra spending. No one was lollygagging. We were on time, prompt. We took turns, like who would be in charge each day. So like, okay, you pick the bars and the food and then we'll follow. And because we're all used to being in charge all the time, it was kind of nice to like relinquish control to someone. It was pretty
And
fun.
you controlled who was in charge.
Yeah.
I love
We weren't missing anything. Like between all of us, we had everything we needed. It was amazing.
I love that. I
It
love
was
it.
my like first experience. I was like, maybe we should start traveling by signs.
God, no. I don't want I don't want to travel with a bunch of air signs. That's a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, if you tell me in advance, hey, a bunch of air signs are going on vacation, I'll be like, okay, I'll skip this one.
Hard pass. So we just celebration for our wedding recently, and so Sage and I are like, his father is a Virgo, and he's like, no, we need an order. We need people to know where to walk and where to go to the line. I'm like, it's like a buffet thing. They're gonna know where to go. Like, no, we need directions. We need signs. I'm just like, and I know, like he loves us, but I know that he's like, how are these two gonna raise a family? Like, I mean, we've been doing it, but he's like, how do they even like do
Yeah.
life? Like
I think every earth sign looks at other signs like, huh,
how does this work for them?
how are you guys functioning in this world? Congratulations, by the way. That's exciting.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I have a kid in college. I have some things that, I've been
managing life fine.
None of them have died. Actually, none of my kids have been to the hospital, knock on wood, on my watch ever. Ever. We're talking 18 years to 5 months. Age gap. 5 kids, not one on my watch. Kudos to me.
Good for you. Yeah, that's actually impressive.
No, but that's not very air sign of me. That's probably more Taurus moon, to be honest. But it's okay.
That's fair, honestly. That's very fair.
But
we only have one more slide, and it's just coming back to those reflection questions. So if you've listened to what we've had to say, and now the questions come back. What are your personality strengths? What's the hardest part about being your sun sign? And what is a major theme in your life? And what is the ruler of your sign? So think about those questions, post in the comments, and we'll start talking about them.
what is we have one. Aspects of my life. I like that.
We got Danny over here. Hi, Danny. She loves traveling with other cancers.
Oh yeah.
Trying to think who my cancers are.
Yeah, I feel like they're kind of organized too. They're kind of structured, so that's too.
Trying to think. Yeah, I think so far I don't really have that many cancer friends. Obviously, Danny, but we haven't traveled together yet. Virgos suck to travel with. No one loves an itinerary. Some people do love itineraries on vacations. Virgos.
Danny, we can travel together.
I like a balance between both.
Yeah. Yes.
Like sort of the structure, like, hey, beach day.
Good. That could be a lot,
Yeah.
My husband and I, we are remodeling our house, and I was like, hey, I want to get the kitchen floors done this weekend. I didn't tell him Friday by 5. I didn't say Saturday by 2 or Sunday by midnight. I just said this weekend, whatever we're doing, make sure this gets done. It was done by 9 o'clock on Sunday, which was fine. I was happy with that.
Yeah, I love that.
But I gave a window. There was a little structure.
Yeah, that's the window I like. I mean, actually, I love me and Danny's schedules because we wake up in the morning. We're like, okay, how'd you sleep? How are you feeling? Do you want to meet up today? And we'll say yes or no. It depends on our flow.
Yeah.
I love our flow.
I love that.
Yeah, and then we're both also honoring as empaths. Are we okay? Are we still stuck out in an astral plane somewhere?
Have you made it back to Earth yet?
Usually no, but I also keep a grounding mat at the end of my bed, so it helps.
Yeah, some little crystals under the pillow.
Oh yeah, I got it all.
I love it.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that's all of our questions today. But I think we did pretty good. That was it's weird going from having 12 classes of structure for the zodiacs and then going into planets. So now we have to find a different little bit of a flow, but
Proof. Yeah, no, I was like, we're going to do this today. I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to share the knowledge that I have. I don't have anything to go off of. I'm just going to.
Perfect. Yeah. And poor Megan, her computer completely died. So you guys didn't get the last 3 slides, but they will be available on our Patreon along with everything else. And next week we will be coming back with the sun part 2. And I think that's going to be a quick overview of the sun and the houses and the aspects, which will be the first introduction to aspects we've had at all, which is exciting.
Aspects are so fun, so tricky, but they really make your chart. That's what drives your chart and gives it the energy. So they're so important to understand. They're kind of hard to grasp, but I mean, once you get it, it's just like, you can see a chart and be like, oh damn, or you could be like your sun and moon trying each other, or oppositions.
Yeah.
Lots of oppositions.
That's when chart reading gets real interesting.
Yeah, you can see how much conflict a person has within themselves literally just by a few aspects. So
yeah, next week we'll be doing that. So everyone tune in and get your questions ready, because that one's going to be super interesting. And then we're going to go into the moon, and that one will be really cool too. I'm pretty excited about it.
I love the moon.
Me too.
See
what?
Moon, feminine energy. She's magical.
Yeah. See, my sun and my moon are both feminine.
Like, it's just all feminine.
I don't know what like my past lives were, but
I like it. I'm here for that.
All right. Well, thank you, Elle. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Kat, and everyone that was watching. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.